Oh man. Oh yes. Woo-hoo-hoo. Ladies and gents, welcome to the very first episode. Well, that was a pretty bad start to the video. Today I get to start on the ultimate dream setup project for my wife. It's gonna be a very exciting series. I invite you guys to follow along on this amazing journey. Sit back and relax, and let's get started. If you hate paying full price for something, only to find out it's on sale the very next day, you need Vetted. Vetted is a free browser extension that shows you price history and expert reviews on products right on Amazon, so you can get the best deal. Let's say you're thinking about buying a gaming mouse. Not only do you get to see when might be the best time to buy it, but also how it compares to other options. You'll see why they ranked the products they did, because the research is all right here. Reviews and ratings from trustworthy sources like Wirecutter and Reddit. But my favorite thing about Vetted is that it works right on Amazon and Google, so I can have all the information I need to make the best decision in one place and not waste time checking multiple websites. So shop smarter with Vetted and start saving time and money. You guys can get it for free using my link down below. It's super easy to sign up, and it also helps support the channel. So this is the current status of my office. I guess I'll be calling it the gaming studio once the setup is done, but it is currently in shambles. As you can see, it's a complete mess. I've been waiting to start on this freaking project for over 6 months now, but I finally got the last piece to begin part 1, so I'm super excited. I'm gonna be clearing all of this up, and I'll be building my wife's setup against that wall, which will be right across from my ultimate setup. All right, as you guys can see, I've done a few things already to the wall, one of which is I hooked up the bracket already for her wall-mountable PC. As you guys know, I recently finished part 1 of building her ultimate dream setup. We're still currently waiting for cables and needle streamers to come in before I can finish that. But in the meantime, I thought we can at least start on part 1 of building her ultimate dream setup. Aside from that, I've also cut holes into the wall so that we can pass the cables from the PC through the wall and out so that I can pass it through the headboard. I have learned so much from my previous setup project, guys. This was hands down one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, and I'm very grateful of the experience because it has taught me so much about setups. One of the biggest things I took away from that experience was to make the cutouts a lot bigger for cable management. So I basically used the Logitech G502 box that I had laying around to make the cutout for both the top and bottom. Passing the cables from the top of my PC to the back of the headboard on my current setup was the most frustrating thing I've ever done. So I knew I had to make some changes for my wife's setup. So obviously one of the big benefits of making a bigger hole is that cables are gonna be so much easier to pass through. Look at that, so much easier. I'm gonna be real with you guys, okay? I don't have an exact blueprint that I'm gonna be following for my wife's setup. I'm gonna be mostly winging it. I'm just gonna go with the flow. But typically when I do a setup project, I like to 3D model the entire thing, down to the mouse pad, to the keyboard cable. Like everything has to be precise, 1-to-1 ratio, just like what I did with my current setup. It just makes it so much easier to follow a reference point, if that makes any sense. We do technically have a model for my wife's setup, but honestly, it's changed so much over the past 6 months. New gear has come out, and I've kind of just decided to take a different approach or different path with it. The only thing that's gonna look similar is the ultra-wide monitor that's gonna be mounted against the headboard and the desk layout, but the actual mounting of the tabletops is also gonna be different. So for those of you who are new to the channel and haven't seen my ultimate desk setup series, I'll drop a link to the video down below, but just for a quick recap, what I first did was I hooked up this tabletop against the wall using 4 brackets to achieve this really clean floating look. Afterwards, I hooked up these 2 3-foot posts against the wall, which act as spacers, and then I mounted the entire headboard against it. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the desk is being supported by the brackets, whereas the headboard is being supported by those 2 posts that I drilled against the studs. My wife's desk layout is gonna be similar, but slightly different. And instead of talking about it, I'd rather show you guys. But first, let's go ahead and clean all this up. Okay, so the first step, as always, is to find the center point of the wall. We're gonna be using that center point as a reference for the entire setup. That's gonna help us maintain symmetry. And as most of you guys know, I'm obsessed with symmetry. So the entire setup has to be symmetrical. The entire width of the wall is 160 inches. Half of that is 80. So 80 inches is pretty much where the center point is. I'm gonna use my laser line generator to mark that. That's pretty much how I mounted the bracket of the PC. As you can see here, is going across the middle screw. And that's how I know for a fact where the center point of the wall is. Next thing to do is find the center point of the tabletop. That way we can align it perfectly with the center point of the wall. But I'm actually not gonna be using this tabletop because I found out there's a little chip in the corner. So I'll be using this for the headboard, and I'll be using a brand new countertop from IKEA for the actual tabletop. So this is 74 inches. Half of that is 37. So that is the center point of the countertop. Okay, so I got the countertop exactly where it needs to be, perfectly centered against the wall. Now ideally, I would love some help for someone to hold the countertop as I'm drilling against the wall, but since I'm working by myself, I was able to use the IKEA UltraGear to help support the tabletop. And this is something you guys can also do yourself if you're building a setup by yourself. You can use a drawer or anything that has the perfect height of the countertop that you're installing against the wall. So in this case, the Alex unit is actually the perfect height that we're gonna be going with. So I'll be using this, and it's also gonna help keep the tabletop nice and straight. Okay, so these are the brackets that I will be using to mount the desk against the wall. And if you guys noticed, they look different compared to the brackets I used to install my desk. And I went with these for two separate reasons. Number one, they are much more low profile. As you can see here, the portion that mounts against the wall actually is a lot shorter than the ones I'm using. So they're not gonna be as visible when you look at the desk at an angle. That's one of the things I didn't really like about my current setup, is that the brackets kind of extended a bit too much, and that kind of ruined the whole floating look I was going for. So with these brackets, I'm able to achieve that super clean floating look, and it's gonna be extremely difficult to spot even if you look at the desk at eye level. The second reason is I can actually get away with just mounting 2 of these against the wall instead of going with 4 brackets, because the countertop that I'm using isn't gonna be as heavy as the one I used for my setup. If you guys remember, that was a 140-pound tabletop. So going with 4 triangle brackets was pretty much required to make sure it doesn't collapse on me while I'm gaming. So with the IKEA Lag Captain countertop, which is about 50 pounds or so, I believe, I can get away with just mounting 2 of these. So since we're only hooking up 2 brackets against the wall, they gotta be against studs. So let's find the studs. Obviously there's one right here next to the cutout, which is almost in the center. There's one here as well. Perfect, there's one right here. Let's set up our laser, make sure we get that perfect straight line. Right there. All right, now we know where the stud is gonna be underneath the tabletop, but you always gotta make sure you do your pilot holes. So I'm gonna use a very thin drill bit and drill through the line here just to double check and make sure that there is, in fact, a stud. Yep. And now we mark the holes for the bracket. There are a total of 4 that go against the wall. And again, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna do pilot holes for all 4 of those, just to make sure that I'm drilling through a stud. So even though this countertop is a lot lighter than the one I'm using for my setup, it's still quite heavy, right? 50 pounds plus the bracket itself, which is at least 5 pounds by itself. I wanna make sure that they're nicely secured against the stud. So I'm gonna be going with the thickest lag screws I could find that actually fit through these holes. So I'll be installing 4 of them in the back with these number 12 washers. So washer goes in through the lag screw, and the lag screw goes in from the front of the bracket straight into the wall. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out the Alex unit to see if the brackets are gonna support the weight of the countertop. I didn't secure the countertop to the brackets just yet because there is one other step I need to do before I get there. So this is just a test to see if it's gonna support the weight of the countertop. Here we go. This is always nerve-wracking, always nerve-wracking. Let's go. Oh, oh. A freaking light was about to fall down, guys. Oh my Lord, I swear. But yeah, look at that. We did it, success. The countertop looks so freaking clean. Even if you kneel down, almost at eye level, and you still can't see the brackets. You have to really go down there to see it, you guys. And that's the whole point, whole reason why I picked those up specifically. The big question is the tabletop even? Okay, not quite. It's off by a little bit. Oh, it's leaning towards the left a little bit, so we have to raise the right side up a bit. That's gonna be a very easy fix, actually. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to add 1 washer in between the bracket and the tabletop, and that should be able to push it up just enough so that the tabletop is even. So let's go ahead and try it out. We might actually have to use 2 washers, but let's just see if this actually helps. Okay, so not quite. We're gonna go ahead and stack 2 washers instead of 1. So it looks like that did the trick. 2 washers per screw hole for a total of 4 washers, and we got the tabletop perfectly even. What I'll be doing eventually is that I'm gonna be pulling out the countertop about 4.5 inches from the wall. So it's gonna look something like this. We're gonna have 4.5 inches of space between the wall and the back of this tabletop. 3.5 inches will be from this post, and then 1 more inch will be from the actual width of the headboard. These are the same exact posts that I used to hook up my headboard against the wall. Only difference is I actually used 3-foot posts for my setup, whereas I'll be using only 12 inches or 1-foot posts for my wife's setup, just because the countertop I'm using isn't as wide as my desk. So let's pretend this is the headboard, which is gonna be exact same size. This is gonna be more towards the bottom, pretty much over here, 1 against the stud on both sides. Let's do 3 inches from the top. All right, so both posts are hooked up against the wall. We're not going to install the headboard just yet because I want to hook up the PC next. I've learned my lesson the hard way, hooking up the PC at the end, because I had to basically stand on the tabletop, go over the monitors with the help of my wife to hook up the PC. It was just a pain in the butthole, so I'm going to be mounting the PC first, run the cables straight down, and then install the headboard and finish everything else up. So obviously I can't do that just now because the PC is not completed, but I can work on pretty much the rest of the setup in the meantime. Let's set up the peripherals first. We gotta start with the mouse pad. Let's just go with the Topo White until the new Season 8 pads arrive, and then I'll just switch it out later. I heard a lot of good things about the G502X Lightspeed, so I picked up the white one for my wife's setup, and I'll play around with this as well once her setup is done, and if I end up liking it, I'll pick up another one for my setup. Ooh, that's nice. I just don't know if this side button here is gonna bother me while I'm gaming, but we'll see. We'll see how she likes it. Obviously, this is her setup, so if she doesn't like the mouse, I'll probably just give her my custom Model O, and then I'll take this for myself, but we'll see. As far as the keyboard, I want to do something nice. I have a really nice custom Rama, so I feel like it's only fair that I build her also a really nice custom Rama. So I'm gonna put together an M65B that I've been saving for almost 2 years now. Ever since I built my keyboard, I got an extra one just in case. And I'm glad I did, because this is gonna come in really handy. Oh yes, so the one I have is the milk version. This is the acrylic version, which I think is technically called ice. I could be wrong though. As far as switches, we're gonna be going with the same switches that I'm using in my current keyboard, the Durock Linears. All right, guys, the keyboard is finally done and it looks absolutely pathetic. It's probably the worst keyboard I've built, and I've only built 2 keyboards. That's not saying much, but apparently I picked up the wrong keycaps because the sizes are incorrect. You can see some spaces and gaps between the keycaps, absolutely atrocious. And some of the keycaps are also the wrong size. I couldn't fit the backspace key on here. It was actually too long, and some of the shift keys and control keys down here were also incorrect. But overall, just a complete disaster. Even the tones and the color of the keycaps are not what I wanted. It's a bit more on the warmer side. You can tell, you know, with the Topo mouse pad and Logitech. These are pure white, whereas these have a milky white, I guess. But yeah, overall, I'm just not happy with it. So I've decided to just buy another set of the GMK bleached keycaps, which are the same keycaps I'm using with my current Rama. Unfortunately, I can't find any online. I think someone is selling it for like $400 on eBay. That's the only one I found. But luckily, my buddy Bugs from the Discord server has a pair he's willing to sell, so I snatched it from him. So he's gonna ship it out next week. That'll get here. I'll put it on my wife's keyboard. And I remembered, actually, I placed an order for the Haven 65 custom board. So when that comes in, I'm gonna give that one to my wife, which is a much nicer board in my opinion, and I'll probably just sell this on my Discord server. Now obviously this is a custom keyboard, so we gotta pick up some nice custom cables to complement the build. It's like driving a really nice car, but keeping the nasty hubcaps on there. It doesn't really make sense. So I went to CableMod, placed an order for some beautiful custom coiled cables, just like I have with my current board. See, this is also one of the reasons why I hate this keycap color. There's such a noticeable difference between the cable and the keycap. So once the GMK keycaps arrive, it's going to match this identically. So yeah, once those come in, we're gonna be pretty much set to go. The only thing I changed with this one is that I made the length a lot shorter. So as you guys can see, this is not long enough to go through the wall and plug into the back of the PC, which is fine. I'm just gonna pick up an extension cable for this. So obviously the setup is gonna be right in front of mine, so going with speakers makes no sense. It's going to be interfering with me regardless of what she's doing, and she's only gonna be in this room basically when I'm in here. So I feel like a headset is gonna be more than plenty. So I'm gonna be giving her probably one of the best gaming headsets currently available, the Sony H9 InZones. I've used these 3 months ago, and I put it back in the box because I knew I was gonna save them for my wife's setup. Believe it or not, these actually sound better than the Arctis Pros that I'm using at my current setup. So I'm kind of jealous that I'm giving these to her. These are also extremely comfortable. I love how comfortable the ear cups are. Look at these bad boys. Oh yeah. Okay, I think we're finally ready to bring in the monitor, you guys. This is probably the most exciting part of this entire video, you guys. Unboxing and checking out the new LG UltraGear 45-inch super ultra wide OLED monitor. Oh man. I'm so freaking excited, you guys. This is like every gamer's wet dream. Honestly, it's got like the best specs anyone wants for an ultra wide monitor. Oh yes, I'm so jealous, but I'm also happy at the same time because the setup is right in front of me, so whenever I want to, I can just bust the 180 and start playing on her setup if I want to, just to experience what it feels like gaming on this monitor. Ooh, come to Papa, baby. Oh man, look at the curve of this thing. Damn, this thing is curvy. Let me do it this way so you can see. It's curvier than my wife. Okay, she didn't hear me. Oh, it's beautiful. Luckily we have basic compatibility, so we're gonna mount this against the headboard. But obviously since the headboard is not set up just yet, we're gonna be using the stand. Beautiful. Snaps in. God, this would suck if everything would just fall over right now, including the tabletop. Oh my God, it's wobbling. Do not try this at home, folks. Please do not do what I am doing. This is not safe. Wait, the table's not gonna fall over, right? I'm putting most of the weight in the back. I got a B in physics class, so I mean, I should be good. Oh damn, this thing is so beautiful. It's not even on, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed already. All right, let's bring the PC over and then power this on because I cannot wait to test it out. All right, I'm definitely not gonna put the PC on the table. I'll just put it on the Alex unit. This is the Asus 4070 Ti build I did recently on the channel. If you guys missed it, I'll drop a link to it down below. But we're gonna be using this temporarily to test out the LG UltraGear monitor. Oh my God, that's just way too big. I'm gonna be sitting way too close to the monitor. That's also one of the reasons why I wanna mount the ultra-wide against the headboard. We'll be able to sit a bit more further away from it. I was about to touch it. Saying touch screen. Oh, damn. That is impressive. Man, actually when you sit in the front of the monitor, it doesn't even feel that curved. It's so subtle, but it does feel like it's wrapping around your face. That's crazy. Dang. Okay, yeah, we gotta load up a game for sure. This thing is an absolute unit, you guys. Wow. Playing Cyberpunk on here is seriously gonna be next level. All right. Shayla apparently wants to test out the monitor. She seems very intrigued. Let's play Cyberpunk together. But yeah, this thing is an absolute unit, you guys. Playing Cyberpunk on here it feels like you're playing a different game. I can't really express it in words, but it feels like you're in the game. The monitor is basically wrapping around your entire head. It's covering both of your peripheral vision, so there's gonna be a lot of head scanning for sure. If you wanna look at the map, for example, or if you wanna look at your health, you're gonna have to move your head and your eyes. There's a lot of scanning, just because it's such a massive display. It's a 45-inch curved 3440 by 1440p OLED panel with a 240 Hz refresh rate and a nasty, disgusting 0.03 millisecond response time. You like the monitor, Shayla? Should we get your mommy to play the game? Yeah? Let's go get your mommy. Let's see what she says. All right, I'm gonna go get my wife real quick and bring her in here so she can play around with the monitor, because I'm really curious to see what she thinks of it, because obviously it's gonna be her setup. This is the only time she's gonna be allowed to step foot in this office. The second time is when everything is complete and I can reveal it to her. So let's go grab her real quick. Hey babe. So obviously I'm still working on your setup. It's not done just yet. I want you to test something in the meantime. I want to know what your opinion is on this monitor that I got, okay? I want you to play a few games on it, come on. Game? Yeah, a few games, come on. Game? Yes, game, I know, you know. It's huge, right? But this is gonna be your main monitor. Let me know what you think. Do you know how to play? Actually, you've never touched the keyboard before, huh? Except the keyboard on your laptop. So W is forward, see? A is left, and then D is right. Just don't crash my car. I got it newly spray painted. And then spacebar is your brake, okay, if you're going too fast. So, good luck. Yeah, just don't crash my car, please. Oh my God, look how she's holding the keyboard. No, that's not how you're supposed to hold the keyboard. Oh my God, we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. Use one hand, don't use two. Don't hold W all the way down, just slowly drive. Just drive slowly. Why are you using two hands? You're supposed to use one. It's okay, you're learning it, go. That's fine, it's just fine. There you go, you're good. Nice. Use the space bar, use the brakes. What are you doing? What do you think of the monitor? Is it a nice size for you?
Yeah, but it's so cool.
It's so cool, does it look nice?
Yeah,
but what? Okay, let's try using one hand.
But I don't like playing the game.
You don't like the game? Okay, obviously Cyberpunk isn't your forte. Do you want to try like a racing game? Something more simple?
Okay.
Do you want to play with a controller this time? Let's try with a controller, because I feel like the keyboard's way too advanced for you right now. All right, got the PS5 controller. Let's see how she does on Forza Horizon 5. So I explained the controllers to you, right? You know what a gas is, and the brake, and the joystick. That's all you need to know. Okay, just don't crash this car too, please. We'll do a little bit of a test run, and then we'll start our race. Okay, hit the brakes when you're going around a tight turn like that. Let go of the gas. What do you? Follow the path. Look at the map. Follow the path. Follow the road. You're swerving around too much. You're putting too much gas. Slow on the turns. Slow on the turns. Oh my Lord. At least you're doing better. At least you're doing better on Forza than you were on Cyberpunk. You haven't crashed into a car yet. So do you like this game more than Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Is it easier?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Is the controller easier to play with than the keyboard? Nice. So I guess we found out what type of games Steve likes. Anything that has to do with the controller and open world roaming like Forza Horizon 5. Are you ready for a real race?
Real what?
Race.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. See, remember the story of how we met? Where I beat you in air hockey and then you gave me a kiss? Well, let's do the same bet, okay? If you win first 3, either first or second or third place, I'll give you a kiss. Is that fair? Okay. This isn't gonna end well. Let's go. Good luck, babe. You got this. Go, go, gas! Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. You're supposed to go between the green checkpoints. Almost there. Well, it was a good try. You finished last place. This means no kiss. I'm sorry.
Are you sure?
Yep, positive. All right, you can leave the office now. Rules are rules. A deal is a deal. No kiss.
Are you sure?
Yes. You didn't. You were in 6th place.
Are you sure?
Yes, you're 6th. You thief. All right, next thing I want to do is kind of organize that side of the office. I'm going to be replacing these Amazon drawers that I picked up like 4 years ago, I think. I mean, they're pretty cool. They do the job, but they're very cheap and flimsy, and they don't really match the aesthetic of this entire room. So I'm going to be replacing both of these with an Alex drawer on steroids. This is an IKEA Alex unit basically, but it's the equivalent of stacking 2 or almost stacking 2 drawers on top of each other. So we got 9 drawers as opposed to 5 drawers from a single Alex unit. So this looks a lot cleaner, you know, matches the color scheme, and besides, you got a ton of drawers to store stuff inside here. Oh, I actually picked up these inserts on Amazon. They are cut precisely for Alex units, so these thin ones actually go in the thin drawer. Look at that. It's gonna make it extremely easy for me to organize stuff. And then these thicker ones are for the bottom drawers, I think. There we go, look at that, perfect. Ah, I just stabbed myself with the cactus. Gotta be careful with this. You think I should put the printer up here? Get it off the ground? It's gonna hang off a little bit, but... Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. So much cleaner. Just don't like the cable there, so I might have to do like a cable raceway to cover it. Nice. I gotta have some green plants in here. Oh yeah, so much better. All right, last but not least, I do want to add some lighting to my wife's setup. We'll be going with a combination of Philips Hue and nanoleafs. The nanoleafs will be against the wall. I'll be going with some lines and possibly even a mix of triangles to come up with a really cool pattern. But for the actual setup itself, we're gonna start off with some RGB strips underneath the desk to add a bit of underglow and some light bars behind the monitor to give off really cool ambient lighting. I know the UltraWide actually has built-in lights, but as you guys can see, it's not strong enough, so it doesn't really bounce off that wall that well. So I'll be adding our own lights. All right, so I just ran into my first major problem, and I don't know why I didn't notice this before, guys, but as I was trying to install the RGB strips underneath the desk, I realized I'm missing something very crucial to this entire project. We don't have a single outlet anywhere near the center of the desk, and that is a very big problem. The only outlet we have is over there on the left side, and that's just not gonna work. The cable routing is not gonna be clean if I have to go down and towards the left. So I'm gonna have to call an electrician and have them come over and install an outlet right underneath where the tabletop connects to the wall. Luckily, we still have a lot of time. The cables for my wife's PC don't arrive till next week. So I have a full week to find someone to get this situated, so we got plenty of time. Oh, that's really cool. They include 3 double-sided VHB tapes, so I can basically use this and attach it to the back of the monitor. Very nice. All right, let's test these out. Wow. There is no freaking way. These look so much brighter than the Govee strips I'm using, you guys. Are you serious right now? Here it is for comparison. This is what my Govee strips look like. And here is what my wife's setup looks like. That is actually insane. I guess you really do get what you pay for. Let's do white light. So that's just regular white, and there's regular white for my setup. Wow, that is literally night and day, you guys. That's insane, look at that. I'm definitely switching from Govee to Philips, that's for sure. All right, and now for the light bars. Oh man, that's just beautiful. That is just beautiful, guys. Here's the LED strips. Oh, I'm in love. I am absolutely in love. I can't believe I've been missing out on this, really? Oh man, I've been settling with Govee this entire time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love Govee and I feel like they're the best when it comes to value, but man, if you want the best, you gotta go Philips, right? I mean, that's just insane. It's night and day. The quality difference is night and day. I gotta upgrade my setup, I'm sorry. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm jealous. I'm getting jealous, but it's in the same room. I can still use it, so you know what? I'm gonna calm down. There's a lot to be happy about. Unfortunately, that is all I can do for part 1, you guys. If you enjoyed the video and are excited for part 2, which you should be, make sure to toss a like. I'm gonna work and finish my wife's PC next week so I can come back, mount it on the wall, and work on part 2 of the ultimate desk setup. There's still a lot that needs to be done. We have to customize the wall, we have to add some lighting, and we have to customize the headboard itself. So super excited to work on part 2 for you guys. Make sure you subscribe because you don't wanna miss out. I'll drop a link to everything I use in my wife's setup down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.